Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. Bringing the player interviews you want to hear and the hot topics you want to discuss. Streaming live on the Foundation Podcast YouTube channel, here's Nick and Matt.
Let's bring him in.
Another week. Who knows?
Eagle McMahon, everybody. Welcome to the show, Eagle. How are you doing, dude?
Doing good. I just finished up my drive, and I'm about ready to go get the lawnmower 2.0.
Woo, yeah. Oh,
My man, don't forget you get 20% off. Use code Nick and Matt. It's also free worldwide shipping.
Wow.
So no matter what state you're competing next, you order it, we got your back.
Okay.
I love it.
This is what we meant to do, Eagle. We meant to welcome you like this. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Disc Golf Great Lakes Open Champion 2021, Eagle McMahon. And that was our plan. We're going to hype everybody up, and I totally forgot it because I'm doing everything at once. But how does it feel coming off of 2021 DGLO back-to-back? You did it again. What's your feelings? What's your mindset right now?
My mindset right now? Let me give you my mindset after the putt went in, because my mindset right now is I want to go to sleep. But after the putt dropped, it was pure thrill and, just such an amazing feeling. It was such a storybook finish. And honestly, why am I so zoomed in?
I can adjust that for you a little bit.
Yeah. I wish I had a tripod. Okay, this is better. Okay. I was like, whoa, I'm nice and close. Yeah, so after that putt dropped, it was just insanity. The fact that I hit pretty much the same putt again to win the tournament, it's stuff that I only dream about. Obviously I wanted to win DGLO. It's my goal to win every tournament that I enter. And I definitely probably had a little bit more emphasis on winning this one, being the defending champion. So, that whole round, there was a lot of highs, and there was some lows at certain points because, like I said in one of my interviews, I feel like I played extremely well, and I thought I played at such a high level that final round that I feel like I could have ran away with it, but Kyle Klein, shout out to him, he kept it close the whole entire time. At one point, I had a 2-stroke lead, but then I missed 2 holes in a row when he got him. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it was tied. I bogey. He's up by 1 with only a few holes to play. So it was neck and neck. It was high pressure, and it was absolutely thrilling.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Kyle. You guys put on a great battle, and I think one of the things we can take away from that is how well you responded to him kind of being the local hero and him having kind of the crowd behind him. And so you both were able to put on a great show, which is awesome. Congrats to you for winning. Why do you think you performed so well at Toboggan?
Probably a few different reasons. I really like the course, and that usually helps. It's a place that I'm really looking forward to going back to. A good course to me is one that I play, and then after I'm done playing it, I think about it later in the year, thinking like, oh, if I put a new disc in my bag, what does that disc fly like on hole 3 at Toboggan? Or what am I going to do when I get to a certain hole? So I was definitely really excited to play there again because, I throw a lot of shots there that I don't really get to throw that much just because of the so many different elevation changes. It fits my game pretty well. Honestly, that's a really great, that's probably one of my favorite styles of golf. It has a lot of variety. It has big open shots, but it also has, technical shots in the woods. And it really feels like it feels like it challenges all aspects of your game while still being fair. I'm a proponent of natural out of bounds, but I'm also a proponent of, artificial OB. And I think Toboggan does it really well. They do it almost perfectly. It's, the perfect balance of both. Like on hole 1, if you shank a shot left, you're out of bounds. But if you, saw it off right, you're a natural OB. Mm-hmm. So, just the mix of, hazards out there is it's one of the best tracks that I think disc golf has to offer, especially with the new changes.
Yeah, kind of quickly go on those new changes. I've heard nothing but incredible things about how the event was ran this year, and then also the changes to the course. I've heard nothing but incredible things about it. So can you talk to us about a couple of the whole changes, and then maybe even the tournament staff? Obviously, there was a new tournament director running the event this year alongside with the Pro Tour.
Yeah. So the changes were on hole number 5. They got rid of hole number 5 from last year, which was essentially like a hole that was right around I want to say 300 feet. It was kind of like a turnover or a sidearm into some trees. It felt like it wasn't the worst hole in the world, but it felt a little bit awkward. They got rid of that hole, and then they got rid of a hole later in the course. I can't really pinpoint the number. It might have been like hole 15 or something, but they cleared out an epic fairway, making this 480-foot downhill, basically gauntlet style shot that probably jumps up into my dream 18, I would imagine. It's that good of a hole. It's very picturesque. You can it's a wooded fairway, but it's extremely fair. You could probably fit 2 semi trucks down the fairway. I think that's kind of like if you're looking for like the perfect size fairway, I think course designers should look at that hole. And then they added another par 4 where it's basically like a chip shot forehand or turnover backhand that's very well designed, technically challenging, which is really cool because it adds a really great variety to toboggan. And then the next change was they got rid of I said earlier hole 15, which was this downhill hyzer, and they combined it to the next hole, making it an extremely tough par 4, borderline par 5. There was a little bit of controversy around the hole, but not much. I think it was pretty good, but they were kind of making something on short notice from what I heard. In the future, they are looking to maybe clear out more of a fairway, so you can maybe push your tee shot a little bit straighter and have better access to the hole, or maybe even stringing a line and making it a par 5. But,
Okay.
I think the hole that they put in was better than the previous hole that we played. So all in all, really good changes. And I think maybe 2 or 3 of the holes, they changed the tee pad slightly, making it more challenging, especially on hole 17. We teed off from probably 80 to 100 feet forward or closer. And then for this event, they moved it back, changing the shot almost completely. So it was a kind of a technical first shot where you could either, throw a turnover backhand sidearm to try to get safe, or throw a hyzer over the road and be a little bit more aggressive. But really, really phenomenal track. And I'm sure most people can say that's one of the better places we stop on tour.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Yeah. I've never been out there, and my son's telling me we got to go out there. But I think it's only, it's temporary for most of the year, right? Or at least a modified temporary. Maybe.
Yeah. I think it goes in for a little over a month.
Okay.
They put it in for AmNats and the Great Lakes Open. So they mow the entire course for those 2 events. And then as soon as I think DGLO is over, I don't know how long the course is from here on out, but it's not going to be too long because they use that part for a multitude of other things.
Right.
In the winter, it's like it's a winter wonderland. Toboggans, snowboards, and all those kind of winter activities.
Yeah,
no doubt.
We've asked you this before. We've had you on the show a few times. We totally appreciate you coming on again. We told you, we said next time you win, the many times you win, we'll keep having you on. Appreciate you coming on. But we've asked you this question, but people keep asking and keep wanting to know. And even in live coverage, they're like, Eagle doesn't look at scores. He doesn't know what the score is. He doesn't know what the score is going into the last hole. He probably doesn't know what the score is. Can you just confirm or deny? I don't think you have a routine. Is it just play it by ear through the round, or is that something you really don't do?
It's to kind of play it by ear, honestly. I was aware of the scores pretty much most of the round yesterday. It's kind of more of a feeling, because the way I look at it is why do you need to look at scores if you're trying to play the best you can? Most of the time, or my theory is, up until about 3 holes to play, you want to play your game through and through no matter what. Because, if you modify your game plan or play safe or, are affected by what other people are doing, that's going to affect you and maybe not the best way. So for me, I've always found that it's more beneficial to just play my game and, just play the number in my head. Like, if I in practice shoot a good round of 12 under on the course, and I know that's a good score, or if I look at like, okay, I played the first round and I shot 12 under on this course and it's 1060 rated, then 1060 usually wins a tournament. So if I can aim for that score each and every round just by numbers, probably gonna have a pretty good chance at winning. So that's my mentality. Of course, there are some exceptions to the rule. Like if there's a course with a ton of OB, saying like Winthrop or maybe Eureka or something along those lines, where decisions really need to be made, and you have a 2 or 3 stroke lead. Yeah, then it's probably beneficial to know scores. But I already kind of have the rule set out for myself. If I feel like I need to check scores, I'm going to look at them on hole 6, the start of hole 16 to finish around. But if I kind of know what's going on, or my game plan is to go for the holes anyway, then I don't really even see the need.
No, I totally get that. Yeah, it's kind of like a mental thing just throughout the whole tournament at that point. On a scale 1 to 10, this is going to be kind of like a 2-part question, but on a scale 1 to 10, how do you rate your season so far? And then talk to us about, you had an 8th place finish at the PDGA World Championships. You then won a C tier right after, but then had a couple of weeks off coming into this event. So give us a rate on your season, and then kind of just your mental thoughts on how everything's been since the World Championships.
Yeah, that's a weird question. It's not a weird question. I'm just interpreting it as that. Gosh, I would probably say an 8 out of 10 right now. I feel like I'm doing pretty dang well. 4 Pro Tour wins is the most I've ever had in the year. My other best year, I won, I believe, 3 NTs and a major. That was back in 2018. So this is kind of almost right on par, and I have potential to expand on it. So for me, it's mostly trying to keep that consistency and put myself up near the top, because I have certain goals that I want to achieve this year. So I'll give it an 8 out of 10, because I felt a little bit lackluster in a few events, but you can't win them all. So I think that the big disappointment for me, the biggest blemish, was Waco. It was like a 47th place. I was injured at that event, so that could be a little bit of a reason. But just I don't like looking at the 47th place finish. It just makes me feel not good about myself. And then Worlds, I fought back. I'm proud of myself for keeping my head in it, and at least getting a top 10. Top 10 is important to me. You can't really argue top 10 regardless of the player. But I feel like I'm in a place in my career where I want to be up near the top. So to see 8th place, two of the rounds, I don't feel like I gave it my best effort, or 1 round I didn't give my best effort. And that kind of cost me looking back.
So just to fill you in, because I'm not trying to correct what you know, but you actually did have 4 significant wins in 2018. Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite Series or Major, and they were LVC, GBO, Beaver State, and Kona Piste. So you had 4. I think this ties your record. Am I wrong? Do you know?
Yeah, it does. That was significant. I classify them different because the one was a major.
Okay.
I'd still say I put the major kind of a little above and beyond of what anything I won so far.
Okay.
Just because of that, the title, which is funny because it's all the same players competing every week, and it's always the same level of competition. But call it a major.
Okay.
But if let's just say hypothetically I can win another event this year, then yeah, this is probably gonna start looking like one of my best seasons, or if not the best season I've had.
Yeah, Statmando, go and research what's the most. Do you know the most that any pro player has won in a season? Because we just looked as far as 4 goes. So if we count you as having your 4th this year, and we only go back a decade, because a decade's pretty significant. There's only 2 other players besides you, Wysocki and McBeth. McBeth did it 6 years in 6 different years. Wysocki did it 2 different years. You've now done it. I know you classified it differently, but this could be your 2nd year if you want to look at it that way. You're on the right track. You're winning a lot. If you do win another one, I am curious. I didn't look this up beforehand. Will that be the most anybody's won in one season? I don't know.
For pro tours,
elite and DGPT.
Well, Paul,
like NT.
Paul had the Grand Slam year in 2015, so that was 5 majors.
Okay.
That he had won, and so then I mean I'm sure there were other smaller Elite Series events that he might have won that year too.
You're on your way though, Eagle. You're on your way. That's the point. Come on, Eagles fly. Your documentary was great, by the way. How excited were you about that?
It was a huge honor. Brian Geis, who lives in Colorado, basically caught one of my Vlogmas episodes when I was doing that back in December, and I was talking about a trail we do, and he basically had a vision, and he's like, Eagle, do you want to be a part of this? And I was like, of course. So it took about 4 or 5 days to shoot. I gave him access to basically all the photo archives that I have access to. So he used his creative genius to make it happen, and it's pretty humbling, and it's a huge honor that something that sentimental and meaningful is out on Jomez for people to watch. It feels like so many people can take like a deeper dive and see like where I came from, and that's a really cool thing. So I'm really proud of it, and thank you, Brian and Jomez, for making it happen.
Yeah. So pretty big news came out with Discmania. I don't know, do you call them your headline sponsor? I'm sure they are, but Discmania changing things up, producing their own plastic, their own molds. How does this leave you feeling about your future with Discmania? I think you had alluded somewhere that like you knew about this, obviously. I say obviously, Nick. I say obviously.
Yeah, I know, right?
Sorry, we're working on not saying the word obviously over here on the Nick and Matt show.
I have some words like that where I just say them without even thinking. I feel you.
Yeah, what's funny is I don't even think I say that a lot outside of doing the podcast. So I think it's when I get in front of the camera, all of a sudden I'm just like, oh yeah, obviously this, obviously that. I'm like, why am I even saying this?
Okay.
Yeah.
So not obviously, but I am curious. I think I had heard that you knew about this during the contract season, if you will, that this was coming down the pipe. Did that play a part in it? And if not, regardless, this big announcement, how does it leave you feeling for your future with Discmania?
Yeah, I'll answer the first part of that question first. It played a major part in it, actually, because with the explosion of disc golf and, being kind of dictated by another company, we weren't really able to order as many discs as we wanted to. And basically, most professional disc golfers get paid off of royalties off discs sold, and if we couldn't make a disc with my name on it, then the contract's gonna other companies came at me with pretty sizable offers, and UC kind of had to tell me some secret news, which isn't secret anymore, that we were going to become our own manufacturer. And he's like, this is we're basically going to be like an Innova or a Discraft. There's going to be some gamble, but I ask you to take a chance and better offer than essentially the other guys gave. So I'm sure you could figure out who was knocking on my door. I don't want to name names, but Discmania put out the best offer because they're putting their money where their mouth was. And I looked at that and I said, okay, I've been a part of Discmania for 7 years. I got a really great family atmosphere. I know Simon really well. the guys back in Colorado. It's really cool. The Austin Montgomery, he's one of the guys who was instrumental. He is the director of operations, Discmania US, up in Fort Collins, Colorado, and he's basically hired on, like, basically the whole warehouse is people I used to play with from Colorado event and like growing up. So like it really feels like the place I should be. So having that and then having, you know, the new opportunity with the factory is just I didn't have any reason to leave. And I think my future is very bright. I really like the new discs. I threw them all this past weekend with, you know, not that much practice on it. Like at Worlds, and they made the announcement, and a few weeks later they got approved. So, you know, the DD3, the MD3, the P2, I threw those countless times this week, and I found really good success with them. So, you know, I think that's proof that the product is good.
Okay, so
that's awesome.
Nick,
that was definitely one of the biggest things that people wanted to know was how is the new lineup treating you? And obviously it treated you well this weekend. We're excited to see it expand. And Matt, you were just about to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to just press on something just a little bit, Eagle. So can you just tell us, you didn't want to name names. That's okay. I think we all speculated at some point. It's probably a manufacturer that starts with the letter D. We can at least get down to 2 with that one. The other thing is, are you telling me that like it was kind of a promise for the future to come, or was this a significant big contract? And are you not allowed to tell us the numbers?
I'm not going to say numbers, but I will say that it was guaranteed upfront money.
Okay.
So they put their money where their mouth was. It wasn't an IOU or saying, you know, we're going to do this if we do this. It was, it made me happy.
Good.
But kids, money doesn't buy happiness.
It sure as hell helps, though.
Yeah.
With so many great events going on nowadays, how are you prioritizing your schedule? I know you're one of the players who does like to go across the pond and go play a couple of European events, and you have some love out there from your fans. With that kind of being put on hold this year, how did you prioritize what you wanted to do?
Yeah, so my whole thing this year was seeing the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I believe it's the best tour in disc golf, and what Jeff Spring and his crew is doing with their organization is absolutely incredible. You look back last year, the Pro Tour finale, you know, the $20,000 to both the MPO winner and the FPO winner. That just shows that, you know, disc golf is going in an amazing direction on ESPN. So I wanted to be a part of all the pro tours. I had to miss one, Des Moines, because it kind of was a last second event. I was going to play the European Sula Open, but Des Moines ended up being a placeholder for that. But, you know, I took that off because it was right after Worlds, and I'm from Colorado, so it was a quick drive over there, and I just thought, you know, this is kind of like, this is the halfway point for the season. And my girlfriend actually, you know, is on tour with me now. She moved from Alabama. She drove the car I had in Alabama out. I traded in my Subaru, my Lexus, and I upgraded to a Toyota Tacoma. So, you know, I had to get a lot of things kind of sorted in that time frame. But yeah, that probably wouldn't have happened if Europe was going on. If if the Europe tour theoretically happened, we would have just played a Pro Tour event in Norway, and the European Open, another major. So obviously I would have loved to get over there, but, you know, it stinks that it didn't happen, but it allowed me to, you know, get some life stuff taken care of before, you know, heading out for the 2021 season part 2.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome that you're able to take a little bit of time for yourself, get your, you know, let's say your mental health in order, and then also just your everyday life. You know, that's cool. Congrats on upgrading up to your Tacoma. That's awesome. Your girlfriend's out on the road with you right now. It's been a busy year. We can all kind of say that. We've had so many tournaments going on this year. I feel like it's been crazy. Every week we're talking about a different one at this point. we're having on the UDisc guys later. And one of the biggest things this year is UDisc finally came out with their own ranking system. And at the moment, you are number 2 on that ranking system.
Wow.
If you had to choose, though, do you feel like you are the number 1 player in the world at the moment?
Oh, come on.
I mean,
actually, I was just looking at this, and I'll correct you. I'm the number 1 player in the world right now.
Did they update
according
it?
to you, they updated it.
Okay, they must have just updated them before Statmando sent our stuff. So way to prove me wrong.
Perfect.
And then, all right, so at that point, now that you are the number 1 player, I know UDisc ranking is, their own personal ranking. I just personally want to get your opinion on how do you feel like your year is going compared to other players, on top of, the likes of Ricky's having a great season, Paul's having a decent season. You have a couple players who are making some names for themselves. Just kind of tell us where you think you're at.
Yeah, so I really hate talking about myself and comparing myself to others. So I'm going to try to go by stats as much as possible right now. So let me just compare myself to the 3 other players that I believe are the best. Ricky, Paul, and Calvin. And I think I think it's pretty safe to say that most people are remembered primarily by wins. Obviously podium is always good, and you're gonna rack up tour points in the national tour, the pro tour, just by placing well. But if you look at Ricky, I think he has 1 national tour win, 1 Elite Series Pro Tour win, and then maybe 1 or 2 Silver Series. And the Silver Series for me are like, I don't know how well they stack up, because they're like somewhere in between an A tier and an Elite Series. So they're pretty good. So you can say Ricky's having a pretty solid year for sure. I think he's played maybe 1 or 2 more events than I have. Paul has 1 NT. He has 1 Pro Tour event, and I don't believe Calvin has won an event yet, but he's been very consistent. So, I will say to this point, I would say I can see why the UDisc ranking puts me at number 1. Do I think that's completely accurate? Maybe not, but I think so far I can see how I could be considered the number 1 player. But I think it's there's one thing in sports, there's a lot of bias associated with let's say Paul or Ricky, just because they have that long-term prestige. They have those world titles associated with their name. So they're always going to be good in anyone's eyes. So they're the top 2 disc golfers when it comes down to the bottom line, and I'd probably put myself in that 3rd spot. But as far as right now, okay, I'll call myself the number 1 player.
See, that was
sitting in this chair.
Yeah. So that was honestly a very, very good answer, and I like how you did back it up in the sense of these are the stats that's going on this year. And you were spot on with everyone, how many tournaments they won. The only thing Calvin really notably has done, I think he did win a Silver Series event this year. But other than that, you're right about Paul and Ricky, how many tournaments they won. And I think we look at Ricky's season, because he went like back-to-back wins. He had 3 kind of big wins in a row. And then you've just consistently been playing pretty freaking well all year, with just really 1 blemish being the Waco. And like you said, you're battling some injury. That's never fun, and that's obviously going to hurt going into tournaments. So, no, you provided a very, very incredible answer on that one, so we appreciate it.
Yeah.
No problem.
So we're just about...
I'd like to add one thing to that. I think I was looking at the Pro Tour stats, and the Silver Series actually count for a good amount of points, like if you play a bunch of them. Paul's winning the points, or no, Calvin's winning the point series right now, and he just has like a bunch of really solid finishes. So there's an argument for Calvin as well, just because his consistency.
Yeah.
But my goal this year, I really want to win the point series for the Disc Golf Pro Tour, because whenever there's basically every Pro Tour event. Gosh, people, sorry. People keep calling me. Every time there's a Pro Tour event, there's a T sign next to it. It shows like the previous champions from like the Pro Tour finale and the Pro Tour point series.
Mhm.
So I want my picture there next year so I can see that I did it on each D-pad.
There you go.
I was doing the math, and I think they count your top 8 scores from Pro Tours, and I need 3 more probably top 5 finishes to make a really good case for it. So that's
Awesome.
my goal.
Hey, that's actually been a question of mine. I do another show as well, and we actually talked about that. Do they care? There's a lot of things that are getting put on the line now, like the match play, like the finale, all this stuff. So it's pretty cool. Even the All-Star event. We got one last question for you, and it actually comes from one of our listeners. It's kind of a big, epic question. Answer it however you want in Eagle fashion. Here you go.
Hi, Eagle. This is Eric Sterner from Seattle, Washington. Thanks for taking my question. Where do you see the future of disc golf? Do you see more outside sponsorship to push it? Do you see the Disc Golf Pro Tour separating from the PDGA? I'd like a little insight on you being such a high-level player and how you see this sport moving forward, on the professional level. Thank you, and always love seeing you at the Beaver State Fling. Happy to see you take down the win, and the best to you on your future.
That's big. That's up to you. Answer that however you want. What do you see happening for disc golf?
Yeah, that is a very big question.
Any dreams? Any dreams? Like, I mean, for you or for the sport?
So at least I tell myself this. I probably, dream of things all the time, but I really like to look at what we have in the moment. And then I don't like to make very bold predictions because I think it's better to be a realist because, if you set too high of expectations for disc golf and it doesn't hit that, then it's kind of disappointing. But let's look at what we've done right now. Just in this past year and a half, disc golf has been on major networks twice, and it's about to be on ESPN again in August. We picked up Bushnell. You guys are associated with Manscaped, which I basically hear ads from them all the time. So outside sponsors are coming into the sport right now, and there was 2,000 people at DGLO. That's so many people, and each and every one of those people paid money to be there. If you were to do that in 2019, you probably have 200 people there who didn't pay anything to get on property. Mm-hmm. So just right there, that's an insane increase. So, I think from right now to, 5-10 years in the future, just the ripple effect from those people, the people who got into the sport during COVID, the people who are getting in the sport right now, it's just going to keep exponentially growing. And I would not be surprised to see bigger and bigger sponsors coming into the sport. And, I think to see if you're in a hotel one night, trying to find something to watch on TV, middle of the night, maybe they are airing some disc golf opposed to, whatever, the cornhole championships. I think it's going to be, we're going to be on TV a lot more often than we are right now.
That's a great answer. I think we're all seeing the same things you are. It's good to hear it from your perspective as well. We thank you very much for your time, Eagle. You said you wanted to get some sleep or whatever else. We're going to let you do that. We appreciate so much. Mm-hmm. Thank you for coming on the show. We'll catch up with you another time.
Good luck at Preserve.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Eagle. Bye.